Hi everyone, my name is Anastasia and I'm the owner and founder of VegShe Health and Wellness. Today we're going to be talking about meal prepping 101. And I know for some of you this is already a part of your routine, and for others this is something you aspire to do but maybe don't know where to start. So I'm going to break this down for you into a few simple steps, and hopefully this will get you started on your meal prepping journey. So number one, pick a day of the week that is best for you to meal prep. Depending on how many of your meals you're making in advance, you're going to want to set aside a reasonable amount of time. And the reason is that you are going to be making up for all the time that you would spend throughout the week cooking each meal, and you're doing it all in one go. And so even though you're creating large batches, it definitely takes a little bit of time. So I would say for me, depending on if I'm trying new recipes or if I'm feeling particularly ambitious, meal prepping can take 1 to 2 hours. And so I personally like to do all my meal prepping on a Sunday. The next thing that you want to think of planning for is how many, or which meals rather. So how many meals and which meals you're planning to make. For example, in the mornings, I usually make oatmeal and I use quick oats. And so that's a quick thing that I just make and eat. It's not something that I need to prep for in advance. For my lunches, I'm a really big fan of the tofurkey deli slices, and I really love sandwiches. I'm just a sucker for sandwiches. And so oftentimes I can get away with just making sandwiches as I go. I work from home, so I don't necessarily need to pack the sandwich the night before to take it anywhere. So I'll make it the day of. If you have to leave your house, which is a lot of people, to go to work, you would make that sandwich in advance. So what I usually plan for personally are my dinners. I find that by the end of the day, I don't really feel like cooking, and I'd rather be able to just heat something up that's already in the fridge. So I do my meal prepping on Sundays, and I at least cook enough food for Monday through Friday, because on the weekends, I don't mind doing a little cooking, or sometimes I'll order out or I'll go out to eat and support local vegan restaurants. So once you figured out which meals need to be prepped, you can lay out your menu. And you may want to account for snacks as well if you eat as many snacks as I do. So you're gonna write out your menu for each week. I usually write mine out on a Friday. And once your menu is written out, you're going to write up your grocery list based on your menu. Once you have that grocery list written out, or saved on a list in your phone or something like that, you're gonna head out and you're gonna get your groceries. I strongly recommend a couple things here. One, account for a sweet treat or something that you really like in your menu and put it on your grocery list. I'm all about balance, and I always make sure that there's some sort of dessert in the house. And it depends on the week. Sometimes it's, mixed berries, and sometimes it's cookies. When you go to the grocery store with your list, and you've probably heard this before, don't go to the grocery store hungry, number one. Number two, it helps to shop the perimeter of the store where there are less junk foods and snacks. So depending on where you shop, you'll probably find, for the most part, grocery stores have a similar layout. So there's all the fresh breads and then the produce and things like that around the outside of the perimeter, right? So hit that first so that you're less inclined to go through all the snack aisles and pick up unnecessary junk food that wasn't on your list. So watch out for that. The next thing you're gonna do is bring all your groceries home. And if you're like me, like I said, I buy my groceries probably on Friday evenings, and then I do my meal prepping on Sunday. So once your day to cook comes up, you're gonna do all of your cooking, decide what day it's gonna be and what time you're gonna set aside, and really, the first time you do this, assume it's gonna take longer than it really is, so overestimate a little bit. Tell yourself it's gonna take the 2 hours. That way you might surprise yourself and it might not take that long. I also encourage you to get foods that are a little more convenient. For example, sometimes it's beneficial to just do canned vegetables. They are not terribly expensive and they have lots of good nutrients in them, just like if you were to steam vegetables, and they require a little less prep time. Rice, I have a rice cooker, and so that's really convenient. I just throw everything in and it just cooks. So definitely account for some items of convenience if they're cost effective. So you're gonna do all your cooking, and once you've finished all that cooking, If you know you're going to be taking those meals outside of the house, I recommend portioning them out and putting them into individual containers to take with you. So my dinners are always at home, so I don't necessarily pack those, but if I knew I was going to be out of the house for lunch, I would put my lunch into its own little container. And depending on what your nutrition goals are, you might want to portion out your meals before you put them into containers. So I usually use a glass container with a BPA-free lid. I really like these Snapware containers. They snap nice and tight. So I use these and then I portion everything out, and I like to use a food scale, and I'll go ahead and put links to these sorts of products in the bio so you have an idea, or in the description, so you have an idea of what these look like or what your options are. But I like to portion out my meals, and I do a lot of meal prepping for my husband as well, and his portions are larger than mine, and I already have that all up here. So I make sure that I portion accordingly depending on who the meal is for. So I'm a big fan of portioning out my food if I know I'm going to be leaving the house. So that's it. It's pretty much 6 easy steps to meal prepping. As long as you've got the right tools and you make the time to do it, it's really a breeze, and it saves me a lot of time during the week, and it's something that I think it's easier with time. So it takes at least, 20 something days to form a habit. So be patient, be consistent, baby steps, and I think that it will become a regular part of your routine, and you'll notice that you're probably eating healthier along the way. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give me a thumbs up, and if you aren't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much, everybody. Happy prepping.